So it all started when the house caught on fire. I'll never forget it, December 3rd, 2022. It was about 1 a.m. in the morning. And I kept hearing my mother's faint calls to me, Nene, Nene. And I said, that's Mom calling me. So I jumped up. I was sleeping in the den because I was the caregiver for my mother and my niece, who had lost my brother 2.5 years prior. My niece is special needs, so my brother and I was very close. So obviously, who was going to get her? Me. So I was the caregiver for my mother, who had begun to get sicker and sicker, and the caregiver for my niece. So I moved back in with my mother. So I heard my mother's faint calls to me. So I jumped up to my feet and I ran in her room, and she was laying on her back and she was looking up at the ceiling, and she pointed her finger towards the ceiling, her little shaky finger towards the ceiling, and she said, Nene, tell me, look up there and tell me what you see. And I looked up in the ceiling, and I could see where the ceiling had separated from the ceiling fan. And you could see between the ceiling and the ceiling fan, and it was fire. I said, Mom, that's fire. That's fire. Mom was like 85, 90% wasn't able to walk, like 90% immobile. So I said, Mom, you gotta get up. You gotta get up. So I got her up, and I put a robe on her, and I walked her as fast as I could to the front room. Don't ask me how I got her to the front room, because I really don't know. But I walked her as fast as I could to the front room with her robe on and set her close by the door. Then I ran into the den and got my cell phone. I dialed 911. While I was on 911, I was waking my niece up. 911 operator asked me what was the problem. I told her that the house was on fire, and she asked me where the fire was. I told her it was in the ceiling, and she asked me, was it flames or smoke? I told her it was flames, and she said, get out of there as soon as possible. You don't know how long that fire's been burning, and the ceiling could fall in on y'all. So, of course, I was waking my niece up until I ended up hollering to her, fire, because I had given my niece medicine. She takes her meds at the end of the before bed, and so I gave her medicine, so they knock her out because they're her mental meds. So, but she jumped up, and when she jumped up and sprung to her feet, I told her, I said, grab something, put something on. She had already had pajama pants on and a top, and so we grabbed her like a coat or something, threw some cover around her. I told her to get whatever she wanted, and don't ask me how, but I got her and my mother, my niece and my mother, outside in the and put them in the truck, turned the truck on because it was cold, and I ran back in the house and got whatever I needed. By that time, the fighters had gotten there and began to, we were sitting in the truck by that time, and they began to do whatever they needed to do to get the fire out. So here we are with the house caught on fire, not knowing what we were going to do. I mean, we only had what we had with us. So 45 days later, let me back up a little bit. I moved, Mom and my niece and I, we moved into an Airbnb for a week. That Airbnb didn't work out. Then we moved to one that was closer to the house, that was really similar to our house, and that we stayed in that until 45 days later, my mother passed. Okay, and that was January 20th, 2023. So here I am, my mother passed, having to pay for the funeral because her insurance was not enough. Yes, I do have siblings. At that time, I had 5 siblings because, once again, my baby brother had passed away. My niece's father, had already passed away. So I had 5 siblings, and so, but I was her power of attorney. I was fine taking care of everything. At the time, I could take care of everything, so it wasn't a big deal to me. My siblings did what I needed them to do. So here I am, mother passed away. I fall into a depression. When I fall into a depression, I go to the doctor, finds out that I need an operation. I have this operation because they just kind of explained to me about this condition that I have. The operation was successful. I'm still depressed. And so at that time, the real estate, then after that, the real estate market fell. I mean, took a nosedive. It's horrible. As you all know, any of you who follow me, you know I'm a realtor, yeah, I'm a writer, a published author, and all of that, but I'm also a realtor. So, and that was my main meal, my real estate business. So anyway, it took a nosedive. I'm still depressed though. I'm a mess. I don't know sometimes whether I'm coming or going, but I tell you what I did do today. I decided to come to the house that I really need to sell because I'm upside down in it, so I need to sell the house because I can't afford to keep it. I wish I could. My grandparents owned it, then my mother had it, and my stepfather had it, and now it's mine, and I gotta sell it. And I don't want to sell it, but I have to, unless some miracle happens. But anyway, I decided to come over here today and just clean out one room and just fix it up, and I just wanted to, because I want to be able to come somewhere until I sell it and talk to the ancestors and get some peace and just feel my mother's presence, and I've been applying for jobs and doing all of that because I'm not a slouch. I even drove for Uber, was driving for Uber, and until I got stopped by a cop. As soon as I was getting off, I'm getting stopped. The cop pulls me over, comes up to my car hollering about because I didn't pull over to the next lane because he was sitting on the side of the road. And I'm thinking, and I told him, I said, I thought that's a courtesy, but also you didn't have anybody, you hadn't stopped anybody, you was not out your car. I'm getting ready to get off my exit, and he pulls me over, y'all. Pulls me over, gives me a reckless driver's ticket. Yes, he was white, and gives me a reckless driving ticket, but I'm gonna fight it in court. But anyway, long story short, Uber deactivated my account. So, I just want to know what God is thinking and how he's feeling and what really is he doing, because why am I having all of these issues going on, and no, I ain't tripping, ain't nobody, I don't want to hear that mess. Somebody got a curse on me because, and I think I said it in one of my other videos, if you do got a curse on me, the devil is a liar. You don't affect me, nor do you worry me, nor do you bother me, nor do you scare me with your curses. So you can take your curses and take them to hell right along with you, because I'm not tripping about that. But so I just decided to come over, fix the house up, fix this room up. I hope y'all liked it. I hope you just see what I did, right? I had to move a lot of stuff out of that room and just kind of fix it up. And it's the den. It's a little cute little room that sits on the side of the house. It has its own entranceway. So I just decided to fix it up and make it all cute and just be able to exhale. So I guess I better do just that. Exhale.